Ladies and gentlemen, the moment that us Godzilla and Kong fans have patiently been waiting for has finally arrived. For the first time in almost 2 years, we finally get to see an extremely hype-packed trailer that will give us tons of content to talk about. Today, we will be reviewing many details of what this trailer reveals to us, including an all-out Titan war. If you're new to GojiCenter, join us this instant by clicking that subscribe button and ringing that bell. Now let's dive into GojiCenter's special in-depth trailer analysis. This trailer starts with a large explosion in what seems to be Hong Kong. But what's interesting is that it's not like any other ordinary explosion. There are not many weapons that can imitate this sort of flashing explosive damage, which leads to the possibility that this may have been caused by a futuristic super weapon. The next scene, if observed carefully, can confirm just that. We aren't going to mention any specific names here, but let's just say that this creature here could be easily mistaken with Godzilla. This thing with red flashing lights is seen crashing through buildings as if they're made of nothing, meaning that this super weapon is most likely composed of an alloy stronger than any metal known to us presently. In this next scene, we are taking a look at a fleet of battleships escorting a large transport. Note that Kong is chained to this ship and not the aircraft carrier. Eiza Gonzalez, who plays the Monarch operative role of Maya Simmons, is seen observing Kong from above, a perfect shot of Kong's sheer size. It is very likely that Kong was placed on this transport against his will due to the chains that are attached on his neck and limbs. This amazing shot here could be where Kong wakes up after being placed on the transport. Here he seems to be studying the restraints that he was put in, probably even remembering that moment when he was accidentally chained up against Romeric about 47 years earlier. But let's analyze what Alexander Skarsgård's character says in this clip. This is our only chance. We have to take it. We need Kong. The world needs him to stop what's coming. Although we aren't quite sure what this means exactly, we can speculate. If Kong is heading to another location to face another entity, this could mean that humanity as a whole is depending on the outcome of an encounter between Kong and another coming danger. But who or what is the real danger? We'll look into that shortly. We are now introduced to an orphaned child named Jai, who has an exclusive relationship with Kong. So advanced, in fact, that she seems to have developed a sort of symbiotic communication with him, perhaps even telepathic. This sort of relationship is not new to the Monsterverse. In the film Godzilla, King of the Monsters, we met Dr. Chen and her twin sister, who hint at a symbiotic and possibly telepathic relationship with Mothra, capable of possibly communicating with each other in a complex, remote fashion. Similarly, Jai must have developed a relationship to Kong over time. The trailer reveals that Rebecca Hall's character, Eileen Andrews, found this child and promised to take care of her. Kong seems to have done the exact same thing, continuing on with the tradition of having Kong develop some sort of relationship with a woman, but in this case, the small Iwi child. This is later reinforced even more in this scene, where Kong seems to have had enough of the restraints, but later pacified by the presence of the girl. This scene could have also taken place before this earlier clip, almost giving Kong some sort of safe assurance while being restrained. Could this child also sense other things besides Kong's emotions? Probably. Just by placing her hand on a wall, it is possible that she picked up something earlier than anyone or anything else could. But us here watching this trailer can easily pick up who is about to show up. Enter Godzilla. The reaction of these two individuals is a bit off-putting though. By observing how their line of sight is oriented towards the sky, something happened up there and not in the water where Godzilla should be coming from. This could mean that we can expect to see either jets getting shot down or maybe another flying creature. Moving on to the next scene, we have an amazing shot at Godzilla swimming at ramming speed toward one of the battleship destroyers, completely slicing it in half with its dorsal fins. The guys here at GojiCenter think that this was actually done on purpose. Godzilla is known for leveraging every part of his body to maximum effect. Here we see Godzilla weaponizing his dorsal plates in combination with its fast swimming speeds to tear this ship up. The next scenes showcase how the fleet seems to defend itself, but we also think that they could be defending Kong, as it is clear that Kong does not intentionally seek to harm the fleet. We are looking at a fight between Kong and the fleet against Godzilla. Here we see yet another example of how Godzilla could use its body parts, in this case his tail, to bring down jets. But let's quickly take a moment to appreciate the theme from the 2014 Godzilla trailer. This music almost makes it seem that Godzilla is here to wreak havoc once again, but from a villainous standpoint. Both the Monarch operatives and Kong seem worried about what is happening. By zooming into Kong's facial expressions, we can conclude that Kong also seems to be intimidated by the danger swimming below. Remember that this is Godzilla's turf, so any action happening underwater will most likely favor Godzilla. At this point, the trailer only gets better as things start speeding up. This scene zooms into Kong's neck collar, which seems to consist of a metal leash with vials containing green fluid. We can theorize that these could inject Kong with tranquilizer fluid if Kong ever poses a problem. This mechanism could have been triggered remotely if need be, but what is really happening in this scene is somehow way more action-packed. Here Kong knows that there is another Alpha Titan swimming below. Could this be the first time Kong encounters Godzilla? Let us know what you think in the comments. Kong's roar has significantly changed throughout the years. It now sounds deeper, more amplified, and even more aggressive. By closely looking at this clip, we see that this transport ship was turned upside down by Godzilla's impact. Now, what we can assume here is that Kong would have somehow broken free from the restraints underwater, or perhaps someone in the control room let Kong loose to prevent him from drowning. Perhaps a common theme we see in this trailer is that Godzilla is pissed. No other scene in this trailer can illustrate that anger better than this clip of Godzilla crawling and completely obliterating everything on its path to get on the aircraft carrier. Just observe how Godzilla's gills vibrate when he blasts the surrounding atmosphere with its iconic war cry. Let's take another small pause to appreciate the fact that we will be seeing Godzilla battle it out with another Titan in plain daylight. Here we see that Kong just climbed on top of the carrier, given that we can see him soaked with water. By seeing the apparent damage on the back of the carrier, we can assume that this was likely inflicted by Kong while trying to hop on board. A very popular observation is that the carrier seems to be tilted towards Kong, suggesting that Kong is heavier. But this is not the case. By observing closely, we see that Godzilla's center of gravity is directly above the middle of the carrier. Kong's weight is currently the only weight that is causing this tilt. By resuming this clip, we see Kong land a heavy attack on Godzilla, sending him bending the other way and consequently tilting the ship back towards Godzilla. This incline on the ship now places Kong on higher ground, allowing him to shoulder charge Godzilla off the boat with ease. This shot alone lets us know that Kong is extremely close, if not the exact same height as Godzilla. In this film, we see that Kong is equipped with enough mass to be able to body check Godzilla and send him flying into the water. If you've seen our Godzilla vs. Kong fight analysis video, you will know that this was probably not the best strategic move. Sending Godzilla into the water means that he is now on the terrain he fights best. While Godzilla supercharges his atomic breath, we see Kong jump off the carrier just in time before he gets impaled by what is now an atomic ray. Godzilla's atomic breath seems to have gone through some changes between now and back in 2014. It seems as though Godzilla over time has improved its ability to concentrate its atomic breath to a more narrow and destructive beam, capable of piercing through just about anything. We are treated in the next scene with a shot of Shunoguri's character Ren Serizawa standing in front of a screen showcasing the mechanized superweapon discussed earlier. We do know that Monarch was building a mechanized giant in the past, and this is very likely it. The mechanical weapon is rumored to be later controlled and seized by a clandestine organization known as Apex. While it is still unclear whether Ren is siding with Apex or not, we can assume that he has some sort of direct involvement with this weapon. It's also possible that the mere existence of this weapon could be the reason why Godzilla is acting in such a villainous manner. As mentioned by Mark Russell, Godzilla is out there and he's hurting people, and we don't know why. This leads us to believe that there are other obscure forces out there that are possibly meddling with Godzilla's psychological patterns, or even worse, instigating him to attack civilians and other titans. This next clip gives us some quick insight on Godzilla's warpath against humanity. By looking closely, we can see that a lot of these notes and marks identify the areas where Apex bases are located, and even as far as identifying where Godzilla attacked. If we zoom in, it is possible that this small lizard figure here could be a current indicator of Godzilla's position. In this case, Brazil. Who knows if Godzilla could even attack any local residing titans that actually live in these locations. Now to the juicy part of this trailer. Eileen Andrews makes reference to a number of myths that describe an all-out war between two alpha titan species. In this scene, we see Kong in the Hollow Earth finding a handprint of what is very likely an older Kong. It's also very probable that we are witnessing Kong connect the dots and figure out events of the past. A battle of generations which left only two titans to finish it once and for all. It is here where we see our first view at Kong's battle axe, which seems to be glowing red once Kong lets out a battle cry. We will be making an in-depth analysis video on this weapon soon, so hit that subscribe button not to miss it. This trailer also features a new Mega Titan specimen, which is depicted to battle Kong. That's right, this is the Warbat, the most recent addition to the MonsterVerse's plethora of titans. These flying snake-like creatures are apparently capable of flight, as we see them flapping their wings to fly at threatening speeds. It's probable that these titans are exclusive Hollow Earth dwellers, only coming into contact with other titans that currently travel through the depths of the Earth. We will also be making an in-depth video on these new titans at a later date. In addition to the debuts seen in this trailer, we have a first look at the Psycho Vultures. These creatures are supposedly native to Skull Island, but are also found here in what still seems to be the Hollow Earth. There are a lot of theories out there suggesting that these could be smaller versions of Titanus Cabezots. But if you've read the comics, you'll immediately identify them as the crazy, bloodthirsty flying creatures from the book Skull Island: Birth of Kong. An even more interesting element in this scene is the glowing Godzilla-shaped rune Kong is standing on. Given the magnitude and solemnity of the architecture found here, could this be the birth cradle of all the Godzilla species? We do know that this film will take us back to the origins of the Titans, so it's not too far-fetched to assume that we will witness Kong finally understand where he and the rest of his arch-enemies came from. Moving on to the final part of the trailer, we see Godzilla and Kong battle it out near the iconic Bank of China Tower found in Hong Kong. By observing Godzilla's battle stance, we can expect Godzilla's battle methodology to adapt in order to effectively counter Kong's attacks. Godzilla will now have to take a wider and more balanced stance to avoid getting knocked over like he did earlier. This analysis is not complete without talking about the climax of this trailer: Kong's battle axe in action. Kong's battle axe is likely composed of three main items: leather straps, a femur, and a Godzilla dorsal plate. By looking at this clip, we can assume that this dorsal plate can harness and even attract Godzilla's atomic breath. Here, Kong's practical intelligence allows him to leverage this tool as a shield and as an offensive weapon, allowing Kong to get within striking range of Godzilla. This critical hit is probably one of many lethal blows Godzilla will have to endure in this film. Now that we've reviewed this trailer, make sure to take a look at our Godzilla vs. Kong analysis video to see which of these two has a higher chance of winning in an even fight to the death. For more fun information on this film and your favorite kaiju, join us by hitting that subscribe button. And check out our awesome kaiju merch if you haven't. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.